the Dietitian with Sally Sawaya from Sally's Diet Right.
I don't know. I remember when I was a child, the summers used to be really hot. I remember really hot summers. Do you remember really hot summers back in the day, Sally?
Yes, Gavin.
Back in the 80s. Do you remember the 80s?
Yes, I do actually.
Sally Sawaya is here. Sally is the dietitian from Sally's Diet Right. Check Sally out on Facebook. Like her page. It's Sally's Diet Right on Facebook with the right spelt R-I-T-E. And Sally's DietRight.com as well. So what kind of questions can Sally answer?
Well, any kind of questions about food. So if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or trying to get healthy or anything that has to do with your food intake, basically Sally can answer you.
03-887-000. Sally, there are lots of tests at the moment where you can test whether you're allergic to certain things. Do you do those tests yourself? Oh, just a second, sorry, I'm turning your microphone off. Sorry, he was back on.
Now it's on? Okay. Actually, I don't do that because allergy test has to be done in a lab. They do normally the intolerance test, but I do recommend that if someone feels that he has an intolerance, to visit a gastroenterologist and do it properly in the lab. You know, this way it will be more clear if he has an intolerance to a certain common food, you know, like wheat, like milk and dairy and this type of stuff. It's not everything that you are intolerant to. I mean, it's rarely that you will not have intolerance on vegetables. Or on meat products, only, for example, on fish, on shellfish. So it's a bit complicated, and the doctor can really help you put your finger on it.
And the new one that everyone's talking about is gluten. And everyone now is gluten intolerant.
Yeah.
How can you tell if you're gluten intolerant?
Actually, gluten intolerance is really rare. It's not that common, but it's like the fashion now. And
so everyone thinks that they're gluten intolerant, even if maybe they're not.
And in the US, everything now is, they have lots of versions of gluten-free products, you know. But, I mean, if you suspect that you have a gluten intolerance, you have to visit a doctor and make sure that you have this kind of intolerance and not something else. And if you do have a gluten intolerance, then it's really, you have to abide by a gluten-free diet. So you have to avoid anything that has to do with wheat, and you can have rice, potatoes, and these products. And if the product doesn't have any gluten, the problem is that it may be high in calories because they substitute gluten with sugar and fat. So not every gluten-free product is a healthy product.
Sometimes it's the other way around.
Yeah, and sometimes make you gain weight.
And the symptoms of gluten intolerance, I've been told, is like you can have scaly skin, you can have rashes, also bloating as well.
Yeah, it's mainly has to do with your intestinal tract, Gavin. You may have, definitely bloating, diarrhea, lots of other undesirable side effects. But mainly, if it's in kids, it can affect growth. So here, it's really important to consult a gastroenterologist.
Our WhatsApp number is 03-887-000. Your questions this morning for Sally Sawaya.
Well, Albert has a similar question to what we were just talking about. He says, where can I have a blood test that tells you what foods make you fat or not? Is this accurate? So this is one of those tests again.
Actually, if you have intolerance on a certain food, it doesn't make you fat. So if you have an intolerance, your body doesn't deal with it properly. So you need to eliminate it from your diet. But it doesn't in itself make you fat. So this concept is a bit muddled in our minds. So if you have an intolerance, you have to remove it so you don't get undesirable side effects.
Okay.
But it doesn't make you fat.
But are there tests that test what does make you fat?
No.
Blood tests.
Yeah, blood tests normally.
That's what he's asking for.
Some people, because they have abdominal obesity, they don't fat on the tummy area, they don't deal well with sugars and carbohydrates. These type of people need to be tested for their insulin, their glucose, and their HbA1c, which is their glucose reserves. If these people have glucose intolerance or insulin resistance, then we give them a different type of diet because they don't deal well with carbs. But that's the only time that we change the composition of the diet.
Okay. Somebody's asking about their mom. Good morning. My mom's weight is 81 kilos and her height is 168. Her age is 57. How many calories should she eat per day? This is like a math problem from a math test.
We have a similar question from last time also. You can visit my website, Sally's Diet Right, and just check. I have a calorie calculator on my website. You can just input these values, and then you can put calculate, and gives you how many calories you can get to maintain your weight.
Okay, so that's easy. Somebody says as well, I'm working on losing 5 kilos kilos of fat, but in the afternoon I get a lot of really bad hunger. Even if I had one fruit or a snack, what do you recommend? I think we answered this last time, but this person is asking again. Maybe they didn't hear the answer.
Okay, so if you have lots of cravings in the afternoon, then you're probably not eating well during the morning period. Just make sure that your diet is balanced. Just have a well-balanced breakfast, then a mid-morning snack, then a good lunch, so that you will not feel the urge to snack a lot in the afternoon. So, but you can also substitute the unhealthy snacks with healthy snacks like fruits, unsalted nuts, small sandwiches, rice cakes with labneh or peanut butter, or cereal bars. Just have those snacks handy. This way you don't go to the chocolate and the biscuit section.
The other kinds of snacks.
Yeah.
Somebody has a question as well. I have morning allergies. Could it be because of any foods? I have this every single day and it sucks. So morning allergies, is that food or is that something like from the air?
Maybe it's from the air. Is it spring only or every time or every day?
She says every morning and it's every day, but I don't know if it's every day of the year.
But she's asking if it could be what?
From food. It could be, but it could be also from other things like the dust or I'm not really sure. Maybe she could consult her doctor.
So this is something to go to a doctor for. Okay. It's been a while. I didn't lose weight, so I did some tests and I just received the results. I have high level of cortisol. Do you think that by taking medicine, I'll be able to lose weight in a better way?
Yes, because if you have high cortisol, then it's like a stressful situation because sometimes cortisol likes to store fat in the abdominal area, in the tummy area, and it's really difficult to lose weight. So I think we should regulate the hormones and then start a diet so she loses weight properly.
Okay. Another question, somebody saying, I'm trying to go on a carb-free protein diet. How can I pull something like that off? Is it a good idea?
It's not a very good idea because it's not sustainable. You cannot stay on a high protein diet all the time. Only in case you have insulin resistance for a period like of 2 or 3 months, you can go on a high protein diet that includes some carbs, but it's very important to be brown carbs and whole grain carbs.
So it's not completely carb free. It's just
not
low on carbs.
You need carbs to function normally because it's the number one source of energy for your body and brain. And if you eliminate carbs completely, you'll have lots of side effects from headaches to nausea to dizziness to tiredness, and then you'll have lots of other complications like constipation, and then high cholesterol, triglycerides, and then it will put load of protein on your kidneys. So later on you will have kidney problems.
So the problems are not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Go on a balanced diet and then lose weight slowly, and then you will lose the weight from your fat reserves.
03-887-0000 is our WhatsApp number. What would you like to ask Sally Sawaya this morning? Sally from Sally's Diet Right is here. So what questions do we have for Sally Sawaya?
Somebody has iron deficiency. This girl, she says she's trying to get pregnant and she has iron deficiency, but she stopped taking iron supplements because they're causing severe constipation. So what kind of food do you recommend that are rich in iron so that she can take them?
Okay. Olga, if someone has iron deficiency, they need to be on their supplements. Maybe if she changes the brand, it will be better for her constipation. And also, it's not only the constipation, is not only about the iron supplements. She needs to have more vegetables, fruits, whole grain cereals in her diet, and drink lots of water. And you need to be active a little bit so that your tummy, the food passes smoothly into your intestines.
Okay, so do some exercise.
So it has to be exercise and healthy fiber-rich foods for the constipation. As for the iron, there are many iron-rich foods. The number one source of iron is meat, red meat. So and it's very well absorbed. We have also iron in green leafy vegetables such as spinach, mlokhiyeh, hindbeh, these green leafy vegetables. And we have it also in beans like full hummus, fasulia, lentils.
What about broccoli? I think broccoli was good
yeah,
too.
Definitely. But when you have iron in the vegetable source, you need to enhance its absorption by taking a vitamin C rich source such as orange, strawberries, melons.
Okay.
Or
so that helps to absorb it.
To absorb it. Also, if you put some lemon on your mlokhiyeh or green leaves, you absorb the iron better. So make sure to have it with a vitamin C source.
Okay. Somebody has
handy little tips. Thank you.
That was really good. Somebody has kind of a similar question. Does eating yogurt after a meal influence the iron absorption?
Yes, it does, because calcium-rich foods, such as yogurt, can actually reduce the absorption of iron from your meal. But if your meal contains only 1 to 2 tablespoons of yogurt, it's not a big deal. But if you have a glass which has 300 milligrams of calcium, then yes, it inhibits the absorption of iron. And that's why we say don't take your calcium supplements with your multivitamin, because the multivitamin has iron. So you can take that in the morning, and then in the evening at night before you sleep, you take your calcium supplements.
So take them at separate times so that they
Separate
both
times.
absorb.
Yeah, and even when you drink milk in the morning, for example, and at noon have your iron-rich meal. So you have space between the two meals to absorb the calcium and then the iron at noon.
03-887-000 is our WhatsApp number.
We have a question about a 1-year-old child, a 1.5-year-old toddler. What is the quantity of protein from meat or chicken that is needed by someone that age?
Okay. You know, Olga, protein is very important for kids' growth and tissue formation. That's why it's really essential to be in every meal. As for the meat, it's recommended to have 2 portions of meat during the day. And 1 portion is like 30 grams. It's only like a size of a matchbox of meat or chicken or fish, or half a cup of chickpeas, lentils, or beans. So if you put this during lunch, it would be great. And don't forget that they are taking protein from their milk and dairy. Like if they have 2 glasses of milk during the day and a sandwich with cheese or labneh, then they meet their protein requirements.
Okay. Another question. I did a few years ago a diet with 1,080 calories, so basically 1,000 calories. Can I follow the same one now? Is there a formula to determine the number of calories? And she is breastfeeding, by the way.
Okay. 1,080 calories is a bit low. It's actually too low. I don't recommend going under 1,200 calories because you may get deficient from certain nutrients. So first, to determine how many calories she likes, she can again visit my website. There's a calorie calculator. She can put her weight, height, and age, and activity level, and the calculator can calculate how many calories she needs. And you need to add to that 500 calories because she's breastfeeding. So she needs 500 calories additional in order for milk formation. Because if she reduces her caloric intake a lot, then the milk will be affected. The quantity and the quality. So to continue doing that, don't think about the calories now. Think about the quality of your food. Go for fluids such as water, soups, fresh juices in moderation, herbal drinks, and limit your junk food and sweets, Go for healthily cooked meals, vegetables, fruits, did I say that? And then low-fat dairy, So just make it a balanced diet with some extra calories coming from healthy foods.
Somebody's asking about her husband. Her husband has high uric acid and high blood sugar. Is it forbidden for him to eat meat?
Not forbidden, but we normally don't recommend having more than 100 grams of cooked meat during the day.
What is uric acid?
Uric acid is from the metabolism of meat and high protein foods. You get uric acid in it gets elevated in the blood and it makes crystals in the joints. It starts hurting. Yeah. So that's why I recommend that she visits a dietitian so that her husband can have a proper diet, and make sure you don't go over 100 grams of meat a day. And there are some other restrictions. Some also vegetables need to be restricted, and protein-rich food, not only from meat but also from beans and legumes.
Okay, very
One more question.
Okay, somebody says, I'd like to know what has less calories, rice cakes, brown bread, or oat toast?
Okay.
I think the quantities are also relevant here.
Yeah, so 3 rice cakes are equivalent to half a medium loaf of brown bread or whole grain bread.
Really?
I'd rather have the bread.
Yeah.
It tastes way better too.
Crappy rice cakes taste awful.
It's nice, Gavin.
They're
I like
good,
it.
but they kind of taste like cardboard after a while.
And the oats, it depends also on the quantity. Normally, if you look at the label, if it's if two toasts are 80 calories, then they're equivalent to 3 rice cakes or half a loaf of whole grain bread.
So we're voting for bread here.
Sally Sawaya, thank you.
You're welcome, Gavin.
Thanks, Sally.
Check Sally out online. Don't forget for that calorie counter on her website, which is sallysdietright.com, or on Facebook, Sally's Diet Right with the right spelt R-I-T-E. Sally, thank you very much.